All right, ready, Pat?
Yep.
All right, first you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, your name and where you grew up and how long you hunted with dogs.
My name is Dennis Hardy. I grew up in Blair County in Sinking Valley. And started hunting with dogs with my dad probably when I was 4 or 5 years old. We'd go out with the Beagles. A lot of times we'd go fox hunting because he had fox dogs, and we also had coon dogs. Then later in life, after I got married and we got a farm, I didn't have any dogs for several years, but then I got back into it, and I had some coon dogs of my own and some rabbit dogs, and a squirrel dog, of all things. A squirrel dog. And he was so much fun. So I've been around dogs all my life.
What breed was the squirrel dog?
He was a Jack Russell. I bought him down in Maryland.
Huh.
And I tell you how many you can get with a squirrel dog, but there might be a game warden watching, and I don't want to do that. So, but you can have a lot of fun with a squirrel dog.
All right, so if you're gonna go buy a puppy from, a litter, and you only want one or two, what are some key factors you would look for in a pup that young that would tell you or help you decide the intelligence level, which one's smarter, which one is more, more avid to hunt?
When I go to look at puppies, I always take a couple hot dogs along, just raw ones. Break them up in little pieces and throw them in with the puppies so they each get a little bit. And then take one and just lay it on the ground and take it around a couple different places and then hide it. And see if one of the puppies can pick up that hot dog smell because he likes the taste of them. And the one that can find that hot dog by following the trail typically has a better nose. And then the other thing is when puppies use their front paws as hands to like hold a ball or a shoe, anything, they're typically just a little more intelligent than the puppy's just gonna lay there and pen and smell at you.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that whenever I asked about timber. So, I wanted to start timber with coon hunting, and then we started with the blood tracking instead. But I did that, and then another thing that I noticed was he was the only one that ventured away from the pack. All the other puppies were. They fed them while I was there because I wanted to watch them eat. Wanted to see which ones were going to use their front paws. But after they're done eating, they would play with each other, and then they would go back to the food bowl and just keep checking it. But Timber was the only one that kept kind of running off and was looking at the birds and trying to chase after the birds and chase after the leaves and stuff like that. So that might be another.
Yes, it is. It's a lot of the old guys said if the puppies are exploring their world, because when they're born they don't know the difference between a bird and a black bear. They just got to go out there and figure it out. And the ones who want to go out and see what's in their world usually are a little more aggressive when it comes to actually hunting. And having dogs over the years, at least with beagles, because I was big into beagles for a while, they have bred a lot of the hunt out of the beagle. They want a real precise dog, but he couldn't find a rabbit no how. Once somebody else jumps the rabbit, you can't beat him, but he can't find one on his own. And that was one of the big things that I liked when I was hunting, when I had my dogs. I didn't want to get off that path to get into briars. That's the dog's job. And to get them off of the path and get them into the briars, that's almost a built-in instinct. They want to go hunt, that hunt part. And it doesn't matter whether you're doing rabbits or squirrels or foxes, or they have to have hunt in them.
Yeah.
And I have a good friend who had bloodhounds for a lot of years. And they were man trackers. Somebody would get lost. Somebody with Alzheimer's would wander off and they couldn't find him. He found a lot of lost people. And that was it. Bloodhounds have this great nose, but they have to be willing to get out there and look in the brush and the bushes and to see where that guy went to. So, yeah.
And it might not just, I think some of it might be too is, certain dogs might be picky about what they want to hunt. You know, if something doesn't interest them and something else does. Like when Timber was younger, before I started really training him, even though he's bred for hunting, he doesn't have papers. He's just a cheap farm dog, but both his parents were good coon hunters. But I could not get him to cross any kind of water, like whether it was just swampy or a creek. He was a princess. He would not cross it. He would not get in green briars. But once he started tracking and figured out, like, if I follow this, my reward is this. Now he has no problems going, across water that's deeper than he is, and going through green briars. His ears are full of scar tissue from getting ripped up.
Yeah,
he's always bleeding from somewhere.
I've had a lot of beagles that only had half an ear on one side. That's part of the deal. It's sort of like, if you want to find a good football player, and when he comes off the field, there's no grass stains on his uniform at all, he probably ain't that good.
Yeah.
You got to get in there and mix it up, and that's what a dog has to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what's your opinion of importance on, if you're looking for a good hunting dog, do you think it really matters whether you buy one from a known bloodline, you're spending $2,000 on a puppy and taking that chance, or do you think that's any better than buying a cheap dog from Craigslist or Penswoods or the Facebook Marketplace? How I got Timber. It was $150 from a small Somerset farm.
Yes, my opinion, the people who have been breeding dogs, whatever breed it is, whatever you're hunting, whether it be foxes, coon, rabbits, the people who have bred their dogs for a long time, I'm not talking about puppy mills, I mean real breeders who want good dogs. I got rid of my junk dogs. I've given them away as pups or as pets or something like that, and after generation after generation after generation of keeping the best, it's like any other animals. If you want a fast horse, you better find a mom and dad who are pretty fast, and then you'll probably get a pretty fast horse out of that breeding. And that's how that goes. With farm dogs, and I think there are some really, really good just farm dog hunters out there. They have that will to hunt and to please their master. They're good, but buying from a person who has had a reputation for breeding dogs, he can tell you what the mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, great-grandpa, what kind of dogs they were. If he can't, he's not that good of a breeder. Your chances of getting a better quality dog is higher. But there are always some lucky guys who just... My brother-in-law says you fall into an outhouse and come up with a brand new suit on. So sometimes you get lucky that way, but most people will get better dogs if they go. And always ask to see the mother and father or grandma and grandpa hunt whatever it is that you're after, you'll get some idea. If he takes you out and he lets the box lid down and the dog comes out, jumps on the ground and sits down and waits on you, that means you're going to have to do the hunting, not the dog.
So that's, what all have you hunted with dogs?
Oh my. Starting out as a kid, before I was even old enough to hunt, I would go along with my dad when we hunted rabbits, and my uncle actually had a squirrel dog years ago. His name was Tippy, and that's all I know about him. Man, they had more fun hunting squirrel with that dog than you could shake a stick at. Rabbits, squirrels, birds, ringnecks and grouse. I've never owned a bird dog, but I've hunted over them and with friends who've had them. Coon, foxes, coyotes. I never went bear hunting with a dog, and I think that would be a lot of fun. But I don't know if I'm spry enough that the bear gets too close whether I can get away or not anymore. So maybe a better wait on that one.
Yeah.
That's about all I can think of.
What was the most thing you hunted with the dogs?
The most thing, probably rabbits.
Rabbits?
Yes, I loved rabbit hunting. It was just a lot of fun to me.
So what do you think, in your opinion, is the best overall hunting dog? Not just for rabbits or, one specific thing, but if you just had to,
If I had to pick one dog to be my dog that hunted everything, it would be a blue tick. The blue ticks to me listen well. When you call, they come. They just listen well. They seem to be very intelligent, and most blue ticks are very friendly. Nothing worse than hunting rabbits and your dog gets away and goes over to a house that's maybe 200 yards away and there's kids playing. Sometimes that can be a problem. With a blue tick, you're probably going to have to walk over and get your dog because he'd rather play with the kids than anything else. But if you got a mean one, he goes over and bites somebody's kid, then you just lost your house. They'll sue you for that. So I like the blue ticks. I always have. And there are blue tick fox dogs, blue tick coon dogs, blue tick rabbit dogs. And I don't know where they originally started out or why, or whether they started out as rabbit dogs and they just bred them a little bigger to make fox dogs out of them. I don't know. But the blue tick is my favorite.
So give us a couple, one or two funny stories from...
One of my best hunting buddies, Smitty was his name. And I bet you there's 2 million Smitties in the United States, so nobody knows who I'm talking about. But we were hunting rabbits, and there was about a 2-acre briar patch. I mean, it was so... And the dogs were running this one rabbit in there and we had it covered for when it came out. It just wouldn't come out. Smitty says, I'm going to sneak in there. There was one tree in the middle of this. He said, climb up that tree. He said, if not, we'll be here all day. Well, he climbed that tree, and I saw him motion to me that he saw the rabbit coming. And he pulled the gun up, and as he got ready to shoot, the limb that he was standing on broke. And he come down like in slow motion, went, ah! And I said, Smitty, if you're hurt real bad, can I have your gun? And then he called me a few choice names, but he did break the stock on his 16 gauge, I forget what it was. It was an autoloader, I think. But it was an expensive gun. That was funny. That was funny. I've been so many. I took my rabbit dogs to a dog trap. Well, I used to go to a lot of dog traps. I ran what they called the little pack. They're pretty fast dogs, not very slow. Somehow the rabbit got on the other side of this pretty good sized creek. And the dogs had no trouble going over there. The judges come along, there was 2 of them, and they says, we're gonna call a halt to this because we don't want to go. And somebody spoke up and says, no, Judge, it says in the rule book, and he quoted a page, you are to follow those dogs. Well, there was some cussing and swearing, but they finally jumped in and went across the creek, and it was about waist deep, and it was funny. And the guy that said that, his dog didn't win. Boy, there's been so many. But I think the most fun I've always had was taking young people along to go hunting. Just to get them out, show them what kind of fun it could be. I took my nephew, my brother's boy, one time, and we went down. He said there were a lot of rabbits, and the rabbits were running this dog, and he was standing up on this stump. Pretty soon I heard him shoot. You get him? He said, yep. But it ain't the rabbit the dogs are running, it's another one. I saw it cutting away. Pretty soon he shot again. He shot 4 rabbits from that same stump. And the dogs were not running any of them rabbits. They just was in that thick stuff, and the rabbits were sneaking out. And he just happened to be in a good spot. And then when the dogs did bring the rabbit around, he did shoot it. And I threatened to turn him into the game warden for shooting more than his daily limit. But I didn't. He said, Uncle Denny, you wouldn't do that. I said, you shot 5 and you're not only allowed 4. Yeah. Yep, had a lot of good fun times.
Well, thank you, Pap.
Oh my. Not a problem. It's been fun talking about it. It brings back a lot of memories. In fact, I call Smitty about once a month and we talk about the old days hunting. Yeah. And Smitty was, I don't see real well, and Smitty, he was about half deaf.
Hey guys, I'm out here. Finally got a nice day to come out and do another practice track. Every time I get a day off, it's either raining or it's below 20 degrees. So right now it's like 55. And it's supposed to be about the same tomorrow too. So I'm gonna lay the track this evening. It's almost 5:30. I'm gonna bring the dogs out tomorrow morning. But I'm up here on the lease. I'm gonna do some pretty long tracks today and do a little bit of well, kind of shed hunting, I guess. I'm gonna keep my eyes open just in case. But yeah, I'm gonna start doing something a little different. So it's not just training tracks, but hopefully, as long as I can find enough people, I'm gonna throw in an interview along with every training track this summer, or at least most of them, with some, I want to say old timers, at least for now. There might be some a little bit younger, but today's video I'm gonna have my interview with my grandfather that I did the other day. Just talking about, you know, old time tricks and stories and all kinds of just random things about hunting with dogs. Yeah, I'm gonna have to lay these tracks today the old school way, because I forgot my little duffel bag thing that has my training tracking shoes. So I'm gonna be tying the Hoos to a string I'm just right now just kind of walking around looking for a good place to. Yeah, so you can see I got my bottle of blood there. So I'm trying to show you here. It's a little, about 3/4 of the way full, which is plenty of blood, but I am laying 2 tracks. Like I said, they are going to be a bit longer today. I got the Who's. Usually I have them in my tracking shoes, but I'm just going to dangle them from this string, just kind of bounce them, you know, as we go. I'm not going to drag them. I'm not going to lay a big scent trail for them to follow, but just, you know, every couple steps I'll hit them off the ground, you know, as if a deer's running. But and before we get started, I just sprayed down with Sawyer's Promethium. It is not recommended, but they say you can spray it on your dogs. I treat my dogs with that stuff, and it does a very good job. I would not go right ahead and just coat them down with it. You know, like what I did was just spray a small spot on their belly where the hair's kind of thin, and just let that sit for a day or two, and make sure they don't break out in a rash or have some, you know, something weird happen to them before you go soaking their whole body in it. But yeah, I'll wear latex gloves and spray them once, kind of rub my hands over them, and then spray them down one more time, and they'll be good for several weeks. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my tracker on and put this back in my backpack, and we're gonna get ready to start.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
There's the turkeys up there. I knew they were around here somewhere. See him, Timber. That's a big flock. Here's another one. That one's a tom. There he goes. Holy crap, there's a bunch more coming. What was that, Timber? What was that? Oh, I'll stop it. Alright guys, I'll be honest with you. Stop. This is our second time around starting this track. After them turkeys flew off and whatnot. Here, bud. Here, some more. After them turkeys flew off, Timber just wanted to keep trying to track them and chase them down. So, I forgot to start my tracker like an idiot, so I just got that. Make sure I definitely put that back on. Yeah, it's on and running now. So I'm gonna restart Timber here and hopefully can get him refocused. There's a tick. Here. And here's the blood. There you go. Here. Truck. Find your deer. Let go of the leash. Pick it back up. Oh, just caught the end of it. Let's see, we're still right on it. There's a little bit of blood from yesterday. Alright, I don't think we have to worry about these turkeys throwing us off anymore. I think he's locked onto this deer finally and taking it seriously. And at this point in the game, you know, Timber has it figured out whether we're going to be tracking a real deer or if I came out here and laid a trail for him. Because in my last video, you can, well, my camera kept dying, you remember, or if you've seen it. So I didn't get to finish the track with Timber on film. But when he found the deer leg, he didn't even pick it up. He just kind of hung his head down low and his eyes just looked up at me like, seriously, this is it? Like, where's the rest of the deer? So he knows he's still gonna, you know, he likes being out in the woods. He likes doing this stuff. But he knows he's still gonna get a reward. Okay, he caught, I think he's catching this backtrack. So I was going up that way, and then I seen my buddy's camera is right there. So I decided to come down to the right here. Good boy, look, he's keeping his nose there this whole time too. See, he knows better by now. When he gets into a spot like this, he's gonna have to stay right on top of it so he don't lose it. They're hitting you again. See, hold on. I know there's no leg out. Just more blood. Look. Good boy. Good boy, Timber. Here. Want a treat? Sit down. Sit. 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 Good boy. Some deer liver for you. Good boy, Timber. Good boy. Good boy. That's a good boy. Yeah. That's a good boy. Get these ticks off you. That's a good boy. Well, let's see here. I was sitting right on top of it and my tracker doesn't show me that I'm right on top of the end. So 28 minutes to do that. Yesterday it took me 35 to lay it. So like roughly 7 minutes faster for him to find it than it took me to even lay it yesterday. And we had some distractions. Okay, there we go. So this red is, see if I can, red is the blood trail and the blue is Timber. See, we've been like right on top of it the whole time until that one spot back there. We're thrown off there for a little bit and then got back onto it. So that's 1 mile and the trail's been laying here for 16 hours. So it's pretty good. 16-hour 1 mile trek in 26 minutes, 28 minutes. Huh? Good boy. Good boy, Timber. Good boy. Okay guys, we're at Dolly's track now. Got my tracker on this time. Dolly just keep pulling me. She wants to go. So go. Track. There you go. You know, for all the more I've ever had her out, she's really caught on fast to, you know, what she's looking for. I don't know at what point my camera decided to turn off, or if it never started, I don't know. But Dolly's doing pretty well. Okay, so we're right here at the end of the trail. Did a little loopy-doop right here at the end. And she's caught it. Good girl, Dolly. Good girl. Good girl, come on. Right here. This is the end. No deer leg. Come on. Come on. Let's get you your treat. Come on. So, I guess you can see, I'm going to try to put that picture up of both the tracks, but Dolly got off like 2 times. One, the map always makes it look a lot worse than what it is. Like 10 yards looks like a big deal, but Dolly did get off a little bit once, and then the second time when I did a 90-degree, she got off. She went complete opposite direction. But it's better than her going straight, in my opinion, because she wasn't just caught up in her momentum. You know, it's very likely that other animals were running that tram road and carried the scent with them, and that's what caused her to take the wrong turn. And I think I said it in the video earlier, but I wanted to let her continue to go that way so I could, you know, read her body language, her posture, how she was acting, how hard she would pull me, all that kinds of things, and then take her back to I didn't want to show her which way to go, but I wanted to take her back to where I knew she was on the blood trail, so that way she could correct herself, and I can compare to how she was tracking off versus how she was tracking on, and there was a big difference. You could see her tail when she was off. You can see her tail was almost tucked between her legs versus up in the air and wagging. And she was pulling me real hard, but she was walking very slow when she was off. But when she's on, she was almost kind of bouncing and like kind of weaving like back and forth, just so ever so slightly. But anyway, so there was that, and also I didn't have my tracking shoes, so I'm just kind of bouncing those hooves every so often, rather than using them to walk with. Excuse me. And I didn't have any extra interdigital scent gland to rub on those hooves, and I guess I should have thought that before I used it to lay what would have been a total of 1.5 miles. You know, so what was left of the original interdigital scent gland on there was probably pretty well worn off by that point, because Timber's was 1 mile long, and then Dolly's was a 1/2 mile. Timber did very well. There was one area that threw him for a little bit of a loop, but it didn't help that I tried to correct him and I made it a little bit worse. So we just had to pull the map out and get reoriented, and then just let him do his thing. But I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd appreciate it also if you go to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. All that fun stuff. So, and share with your friends. We got hopefully plenty more training videos this summer, as well as some more interviews with some other old timers. So Also, let me know in the comments or whatever if you like that with the interviews. If not, I'll stop. So, but until next time.